I'm a real player. You can put me on the roster. All about my cheese. I ain't worried about the pasta. Baby, 9 hooks, take a mine on the rock. They got hit up. Might as well pop it out. Fire like a chopper. Burn like a river. Screens in the rain. Addicted like the weather. Serve in my cup. Can't go without my medicine. Flow so fresh. Like a big bag of peppers. Where you go better? All they know is suckers. You know the money talk. You can ask Chris Tucker. I'm a country boy.
Welcome to Side Action, episode 29 of season 8. My name is Jim Weggars, aka Wegs. You can follow me on X on Instagram at Wegspool.
And I'm Coop. You can check me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper and on X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action podcast coming to you live on location. We're back.
We're back. I shouldn't wear a Michael shirt because it's probably promotional problems, but hey, we're back.
Yeah.
Back-to-back podcast today. Dalton, thanks for chiming in the last one. It was like, I'm like, okay, I guess this is what people in the radio world are like. They're just back-to-back and just do your thing, you know?
Yeah.
You just have to, it's like, what's that guy's name? John Hanson? Not John Hanson.
Yeah. Scott Hanson.
Scott Hanson. He just he must have like a tube under his table, so he just pees in the tube all day or just doesn't pee for 8 hours or something.
Well, they put commercials in there now, so he can go to the bathroom, which is, that's a whole different conversation. Yeah, that's
I'm sure his bladder is not happy.
It smells like
anyway,
you know?
what'd you do last weekend? Did you have some fun? Did you?
Not really. I traveled to Syracuse, came back.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no plane problems to speak of, or no crazy travel stories this time.
Southwest again?
No, United. It's gonna take me a while to trust Southwest if I ever do it again. Nothing too crazy. This weekend is definitely more busy than last weekend, to say the least.
Okay.
No, nothing crazy. Just bowling. That's the only thing I can really report on.
Are we still alive? Are we still?
We're still kicking. We got 5. We went 5-2 again this week. We got to do that a lot. So it's not exactly what we're looking for, but it's progress. We're moving in the right direction. So
gotta keep your composure.
Yeah, we've gone from I think Caesar sent the standings in it. We've gone from 9th in the division to 4th in the division in 3 weeks. So we're moving in the right. We got to keep going. The job's not finished, as Kobe Bryant once said. Job's not finished.
Moving on up.
Yeah.
Right.
So what about you? I know you have an exciting. I got to live vicariously through you.
I always have stuff. Well, first of all, I didn't even get a chance to write this up. So I saw an amazing play at the Goodman Theater. It's called The Brief Wondrous. Here, I get the thing right here. The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. There you go. There's your promotion. It was an awesome play. It's like a world premiere. It's a book that was written by a Dominican author, Junot Diaz, and obviously set into a play now at the Goodman. It was awesome, dude. It was funny, and then it got serious, but a lot of Dominican references, and it's actually set in a time really close to when I was there, so I felt very aligned with it. And the acting was awesome. Had a great time. That was great. Wonderful Friday night. Saturday, could have been better. I went out with this young lady who I met at the club, which I guess, there's the you just here lies the statement. You met her at the club. She just was something. I don't know.
That's not the steak gal, is it?
What's that?
This is not the steak gal?
Yes, it is the steak gal. Yes,
okay,
yes.
gotcha.
I went back for more. Why not? Why not get kicked in the balls again? This time, I had set up yes, thank you, miss. Can I have another? Bam!
Yeah.
So I end up, set up a nice date. My coworker's husband played at this jazz thing, and I was excited about that. I asked her if she wanted to go. She said yes. We kind of formulated a date out of it.
Nice.
She ends up canceling on dinner with advance notice, but that's okay. So I didn't have to pay for another steak. But then we go to the jazz thing, and it was a really lovely time. The jazz was great. She's falling asleep. I'm like, okay. She's nodding off. I'm like, okay, I guess you really liked the jazz performance there. And then she's like, can we get food afterwards? I'm like, yeah, I already ate. I'm doing intermittent fasting, dude. I'm trying to get slimmer. So we go to this place called Carbon, which is a club, sir. Now, I understand it's a restaurant during the day, but 11 o'clock at night, you saw the lights in my story. It's like a crazy club. I'm like, we're going to order food here for you? Okay, sure. We're the only people eating at this bar at this moment as people are gyrating on the dance floor. That's fine. And then she proceeded to say she had a friend show up, which is fine. It's a lot of tea. She's not going to listen to him. But this is the thing. She says, "Oh yeah, my friend had an anxiety attack on the way. I need to take her home." I'm like, "Okay, you could have just said you wanted to go home and wanted to go out with this girl. Like, I don't have to buy this BS that you're just like, why even make up that garbage?" So this was like ridiculous. So that was Saturday. I was out at some club till 1 for some stupid reason, and then Lieutenant Cavs, commend him. He did the polar plunge on Sunday.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I forgot to put that in there. He was so great. It was cold out there. It was windy. Luke and I decided to go out there. Jane made it out there. It was a little chilly. Jackie was there. She made a sign. I mean, look, it inspired me to do it, although it was even cold for us just holding our phones with bare hands. I can't imagine Lieutenant Cavs with his shirt off, I was like, the Cavs keep you warm, as he dove in the bar. And
I saw one guy wearing a hockey jersey. I was like, God, what an idiot. Like, is all you're going to do is get soaked? It's going to be hard to take off. You're going to be cold. Yeah.
Well, there were the whole thing. People wore tons of costumes, dude. There was like there was the Star Wars themed guys. There were like a box of crayons. There was all sorts of stuff. I don't know if there was Game of Thrones. It was pretty fun. They were like Olympians or something. It was the firefighter cadets. So it was cool. And it was not a great day for doing it, but I commend them for it. They raised money for charity, Special Olympics, and there you go. So, and I traveled to Denver and back. That was I saw Papa Wegs. Yesterday.
Nice.
I'm sure he said hello to you. So hello, Dalton. He doesn't listen. He's not a listener, but he was
on his
it was good to see him. Good to see him. He told me so much about the golf league. You would have gotten a lot more out of it. He was talking to me ad nauseum about how the golf league's changing. He's running the golf league, and like, that's fine.
Hell yeah. We got to get him to come to Chicago and play golf with him. We can go out for a round. That'd be great.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get him. Let's see how Papa Wegg swings the old clubs,
Yeah. We get like a father-son thing. What are you going to do when he beats you, though? That's my question.
He hasn't beaten me to date, and I'm not a good golfer. So
he's probably, is he in his 70s? Is Papa Wegg?
70s. He'll be 75 actually next Tuesday. I got to send him the Christmas birthday card. But yeah, he's 75. 51, he's 75 on Tuesday, so he's still getting around. He's looking good.
Yeah,
you do.
It's that Weglar's blood,
Oh, the genes, the Polish genes, man. good stuff. All right, let's talk about the shed here. I'll let you go first because you're gonna love mine. So go ahead. Tell me what's up in the shed.
Well, the first one I have for bid is going to be the New York Rangers. I was going to.
Oops, you're on mute, buddy. On mute.
I don't know why they keep. I was going to save this one for the hockey podcast, but we're going to put the New York Rangers in the bin.
Okay.
Because they have gone 100 days since their last regulation win at home. Rangers hockey games at Madison Square Garden. You have not seen a lot of favorable hockey, to say the least. And their last regulation home victory, Wegsy, was November 24th of 2025, and that was a 3-2 victory over St. Louis Blues. So tough stretch.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. Hope you're not a season ticket holder. This is definitely not the year for it, to say the least.
Yeah. You're a Knicks fan.
Yeah, we can only hope. And then this speeding. Speeding is in the bin. Never a good idea to speed. But Myles Garrett has not learned this lesson. He got his 9th speeding ticket up in Cleveland the other day. It's his 9th one since 2017, let alone.
So how many can you get before they take your license? I'm a little confused by this.
Yeah, maybe it's just
more than one a year.
Oh yeah, maybe when you have a lot of money, they don't care. They want you to keep speeding. Maybe that's the whole point. He's funding the whole department at this point.
But he flipped over on this one, didn't he? He got an accident, or was it just a speeding ticket?
I just read that it was a ticket. Like he was doing 91 or 92 and like a 70, give or take, which I guess is he's just doing his Georgia impression, his Georgia football player impression, maybe. I don't know. So, but we're putting him in the bin, making headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Put him in there. 9th speeding ticket. I just
since 2017. God knows how many he's got overall.
I mean, I worry about him. That's people get in trouble. I know he was drunk, but the Henry Ruggs thing. I mean, you can't go that fast. Bad things happen.
Bad things happen. Yeah,
bad things happen. Well, I'm gonna put Kansas, even though they were in the. Bill Self was in Club Dub last week. He's going to the Shed this week, mainly because for some reason Kansas, the Jayhawks can't win in Tempe, Arizona. I don't know if you saw this. They've played there 5 times in their history. And now they're in the Big 12, Arizona State. Arizona State sucks. They're terrible. Bobby Hurley's probably going to get fired in the offseason. Arizona State beat Kansas 70-60. They're 0-5 now, all time in Tempe. Now, granted, Tempe has a lot of nice attractions, mainly the co-eds. There's some nice looking co-eds out there. There's a nice bar district there. Maybe the kids are going out a little bit the night before or getting drunk. I don't really know, but how do you lose 5 times in this town? And especially with Arizona State's just garbage, but
they get distracted. Yeah, maybe they just get distracted. Who knows?
Absolutely. And then, of course, it's not really Dalton's take. We had a little, the podcast doesn't know. Sometimes we disagree. It's okay. Agree to disagree. We had a little, it just started as a simple
exchange
text from Art Primetime Murphy. He was talking about DJ Moore getting traded or getting released. And then, Dalton said something, and I thought it was a supportive comment, but apparently it was not a supportive comment. I thought that they would, Rome would play better and maybe they'd pick up a wide receiver in the draft, and bam, now it's like, no, they need defense. I'm like, yeah, I get that. But no. He's like, Luther Burden, he's the greatest. I'm like, wait a second, slow down here. Luther Burden, we're talking about the same player, right? And so I don't believe Luther Burden. He may be you're saying he's going to lead the team in receiving yards next year.
Yeah.
I don't consider that a number one receiver personally. I know that leads in yardage, but agree to disagree. We have to formulate a bet out of this in some way. How about targets? Can we do targets? But I need it just not one season. To your point, like we kind of got into it. Like I'm like, is he going to get 1,000 yards? We started with Pro Bowl, but Pro Bowl sucks now. All Pro is probably too high of a bar. So he's like, how about leading yards next season? I'm like, how about 1,000 yards 3 seasons? It's a negotiation. It got a little ugly out there, everybody. I know you guys are worried about us. We're fine. We're good now. But I think that in general, that shed take. Look, Luther Burden, I don't know, man. You really think he's that good, huh?
So let me tell you this. He led the Bears in every single metric last year, including the following: EPA per target, success rate, yards per target, yards after catch per reception, accurate target catch rate, overall catch rate, and percentage of targets per route ran. So
he caught the ball a lot when he got thrown the ball. And he had 60 targets, right? So you think if he goes up to 100 targets, 47 for 60, I think I looked it up. Yeah. So if he goes up to 100 targets, which would be the leading target getter on the team, you think he's still going to catch 75% of his balls? 75%. Yep. That's still not a lot of production. My thing is like, and again, we're defining things. To me, number one wide receiver is like the man on your team. You don't like Rome Odunze, apparently. Apparently you're out on Rome. And that's okay. But my thing is, if you're getting rid of DJ Moore, who obviously was a good productive receiver for a couple teams, I think you're going to get another receiver. Not in the first round. I don't think it's going to be a first round guy. But there's a lot of good receivers in this draft. I think they're going to add another guy. And you think it's Burden? He's okay. I mean, why I brought up, what's his name? Amon-Ra St. Brown, was that's the number one receiver in Ben Johnson's offense. So you believe that he's going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't see him as that. I don't think he's as good.
I disagree. I think the offense that they run is completely different than the offense they run. And I could even argue too that the offense they run in Detroit is built around the run game, just like it is in Chicago.
No. And I agree with you, but it doesn't matter. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets 120 targets a year and like 100 receptions a year, 130 targets a year. You see what I'm saying? So like even over the 5 years that he was there, it's just, I don't know. That's the way I look at it. He's brought the offense here. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty similar. It's just that Rome got hurt and DJ Moore, for some reason, they wanted him out. They kind of split, like they formed an Amon-Ra St. Brown together. And then Luther was the Williams player, even though, I don't disagree that he's probably a better player, but he played that role. So you're saying he's going to slide to the Amon-Ra St. Brown role. I think they're going to bring somebody in. And then Darnell Mooney, which again, we're all talking Bears now, $18 million a year, he's fine. He's a good player. I wouldn't pay that. I get a young guy. I pay him $2 million a year. He's going to be just as good from the draft. But that's just me.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. And now, I mean, the big difference between Amon-Ra and at least your take here is that Luther plays more in the slot than he does outside. So I'm going to argue production as opposed to where they play on the field, because I think you could probably make the argument most number one wide receivers play outside. But that's neither here nor there. I would just say I think you can expect a big bump in his production coming up this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
get ready for it. He's going to be the fantasy draft steal of the year. I'm telling you right now.
Okay, he said it. If he gets the most targets, to me, then he's the number one receiver for a team, right? Because obviously targets usually translates into production. Not in case of Rome this year, because he was the leading target guy. But I hear you. And to your point about Colston, Colston's a hell of a player. I love him. He was actually the leading yardage guy this year. You probably didn't look it up. I had to look it up.
No, he did. It's like 860 yards or something like that.
7-11, but who's counting?
Okay.
But either way, like, they were very balanced this year. I kind of see at some point there's going to be a peak. There's going to be somebody who's going to be a leading guy, but maybe you're right. Maybe Caleb just spreads it around and that's how he does it. So either way, that discussion, putting in the shed. There you go.
Okay. Nice.
All right, Club Dub. I will go first. The Horned Frogs, man. I love this team. 4 straight wins in the Big 12. They beat Texas Tech. They're really kind of a force. They're peaking at the right time. I think they're going to make the tournament almost assuredly now. I love this team. I'm really excited to see if they can make a little run. They're not going to be like a Final Four team, but, they can probably get to the second weekend, Sweet 16 in the Big Dance if they get the right draw. So there you go.
You've been talking about them for a couple weeks now, too.
And they are a frog. We already confirmed that they are a frog.
Yeah, they are.
And then I like this guy. This guy stole for me. Look, I watched some of the combine. I wasn't like plugged in at all times. I was trying to do some things. But Jennings Dunker, Iowa, man. This dude, the hair, he has the red flowing mullet, and he was running around hard. He was, everybody's favorite player. He's my favorite player. I want to put him on social media for me. Hopefully we can get him on the podcast sometime. So Jennings Dunker, you, sir, are in Club Dub. I would love to see you in a pair of uniforms. Probably not going to happen at 25, but maybe it will.
Yeah. Shoot him a DM. You never know. Just be like, message him from we'd love to have you on the Side Action podcast to talk about hair.
Well, as a result, the lockdown podcast we're going to do on Tuesday, I bet basically, because I used to have a mullet, I know you're shocked, when I was like 20 years old, we talked about putting up our old pictures at some point on that podcast, and I'm going to put up a mullet shot if I can find it in a box of photos.
Yeah. I think I got one of your pictures from when you were in the Peace Corps. I think I took a picture of that picture somewhere in my phone.
That one's pretty bad too, with the big chops. Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Good. Wegsy, you were rocking some looks back in the day.
It's a miracle that I left there single. I have no idea. All right, who do you got in Club Dub, dude?
Can't believe you don't have like 4 or 5 ex-wives at this point.
Well,
let's see.
Anyway.
Club Dub for me. I'm going to put the Boston Celtics in Club Dub. It was reported today that Jason Tatum is expected to make his return tomorrow night, which is a big deal for them. Obviously, all the superstars that got hurt last year in the East. I put the NBA in the shed, so I got to do a rebound, if you will, for them.
Reel them back up.
Yeah. So shout out to Jason Tatum. Hopefully he comes back, stays healthy. The Celtics are currently the second seed in the East, which I think surprises a lot of people, including myself, especially when you lose your superstar player. But they've been hanging in there, so we'll see what happens.
They beat the hell out of the Bucks the other night. I mean, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they ruined Giannis's return. So, and then my other Club Dub, got a shout out to my boy. So Graham Fa is in Club Dub. He is hanging out in the Art Murphy Lounge this week. He is the PBA Pete Weber Missouri Open Classic champion. The Canadian took home his 3rd title, and he is bowling this week in the U.S. Open at Indianapolis. But he's had a top 3 finish, and then he obviously won. So he's had a pretty good start to his PBA campaign this year. Hopefully, maybe a Player of the Year in his future. That would be sick. So we'll see.
I was excited to see that, man. I saw it on your social media. That's so cool. Especially Pete Weber. That guy's a legend. So that's a great, great one to win. So
signed this trophy for him too. So
oh really? That's cool. Are you able to go see him bowl somewhere close in one of these opens?
Not really. I think the closest one they'll get is this weekend in Indy. I think I don't know I think they bowl somewhere in Minnesota for like a week or two, but that's not really the closest to us, obviously. But they don't really come to Illinois this year, unfortunately. So
that's okay.
That's okay.
Maybe it's for the best. We don't want to jinx his success, you know.
Yeah, I know where he lives. It's fine. Yeah. I'd rather go visit him at his house and see all the trophies that way. Like when you walk into his house, he's got like a big cabinet. As soon as you walk in with all the trophies he's won, so let's talk about a flex. This guy, yeah.
That's so great, man. That's cool. Well, congrats to him. Congrats to him. So yeah, there's okay. We'll let you pop a couple bottles of champagne. We will make sure that Edmund doesn't get in there to try to take away some action. Anyway,
over the border.
Let's talk about college hoops. We've got the top 10 in KenPom. We've got Duke back in number 1. They ascended. Michigan 2, Arizona 3, Florida number 4. You know, we'll talk about the Gators. We've got Illinois, Houston, Purdue, which I don't know how that's held up. I didn't check today. Yeah. And then Michigan State and Iowa State. So not a lot of change, but some movement. Florida keeps going up.
Don't forget UConn.
Oh, I'm sorry. UConn at number 10. They're on the next page. Yeah. And, you know, I hate the Fighting Hurleys, but they are playing pretty good. So
yeah.
What could be said?
And you were talking about top 4 teams or top 3 teams in KenPom all being the top 3 in defensive rating, and that includes number 4 Florida too. Florida is 4th, and they're the 4th best team in defensive rating. So you see where he leans.
Well, he does. I mean, it's part of it is, you know, you were speaking to differential on the other podcast. If you're holding the team down and you're a good scoring team, I mean, you're kicking butt in that metric. So
yeah,
let's talk about there's some tickets. There's already tournaments. You already talked about the Horizon League, but there's some other tournaments kind of starting, and they're going to get their first punch ticket on Saturday. Ohio Valley Conference. That's going to be exciting. That's the first one. It's always cool. It's the first one that, you know, rushing the court, cutting down the nets and stuff, ready to go to the big dance. And then Sunday, you've got 3. You've got the Atlantic Sun and the A-Sun, Missouri Valley and Big South. And then there's 11 others punched by Thursday next week. So it's happening. It's happening. We're in March and we're starting off hot.
Hell yeah. It's the best time of the year.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's first talk about Bubble Watch before we talk about the games that we went over last week. So Santa Clara, this is the last 4 in. We kind of left those other teams off. We talked about those, you know, sometimes, but limited a little bit. So Santa Clara, the Fighting Art Murphys are still in the dance as of today. We'll see about tomorrow when Lenardi posts it. They're 23-7. I mean, we did confirm they haven't been in since Steve Nash was there in '96. I didn't realize he graduated the same year as me. There you go, Steve. And so I think they're going to have to make it to the Western
Conference
Finals. West Coast Conference semifinals to be able to still make the dance. And I hope they do for art's sake. But have you been able to catch these guys at all? I mean, they're actually playing good basketball, 15-3 in the WCC.
Yeah, not too much, but I do agree. They got to have just with these mid majors. You just never know with these conference tournaments. I mean, everybody keeps talking about the whole Miami situation. So I think these mid majors all kind of fall into that same umbrella. They got to have good showings in their conference tournaments just to gain that validity.
Right. It's also a recency bias thing. Like that tournament will end on Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Everybody else is going to play the following weekend. Yeah. Selection Sunday really gets determined more or less on Saturday and Sunday afternoon. You kind of forget about Santa Clara if they lost in the semifinals, you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. Ohio State got their big win, though. They did beat Purdue on Sunday. Of course, Purdue is sliding like crazy, but they end up, they're 18-11 now, 11-8 in the Big Ten. I think they're going to be on the right side now with that big win, and they followed up that win with another win. So the big thing I'm noticing with Ohio State is that they finally are getting really good guard play, which matters late in games. They were blowing so many games and, you know, tight games. They kept losing, and they played really good against Purdue. You know, Purdue's kind of sucking. So I think the Buckeyes are in there for now. Yeah,
and I mean, when you play in the Big Ten too, they're 11-8 in the Big Ten. So I mean, if you could survive the second hardest conference, I think you probably deserve a spot.
I agree. Whereas Indiana, 17-12, 9-10 in the Big Ten Conference, they finally got a win, but they just can't get it done, man. I think they're really going to have to. They're going to play each other, Ohio State and Indiana, on Sunday. So I think if Indiana can get that win, that will help them. But for me, I think they're out. I don't like them being in the dance, even though their metrics are okay, kind of right on that cut line for me. 40, 45 is the cut line. They're at 40th in the net, 43 in KenPom. I just don't like this team. I watched them play Michigan State and get smothered. I don't know. I don't trust them at all. So I think Indiana should be out.
Yeah, and they got smothered against Purdue and Illinois. They lost to Illinois by 20 and then Purdue by almost 30. So, yeah, it just seems like when they step up in competition, they seem to falter a little bit. And they're 9-10 in the Big Ten. So, kind of the opposite argument of Ohio State.
They shoot a lot of threes, like contested threes. They don't have a lot of stuff going to the basket, which is never a great recipe if you don't have guys who can get offensive rebounds. And then New Mexico, and I'm going to make stand on my soapbox again now. So New Mexico is in right now. They beat the Aztecs on Saturday. Happy for them. They've got a good conference record at 12-5, 21-7. But I will tell you, the hottest team in the Mountain West, you know who it is?
Colorado State.
Colorado State Rams. 8 wins in a row. They went to Mexico and kicked their butts down in the pit just last night. I actually thought the score was wrong when I first looked at it. I was like, oh my God, they're winning by 15 at halftime. So that's a team you got to watch out in the Mountain West. But for now, the Lobos are in. They probably earned it. And San Diego State, which we'll talk about in a minute, they're kind of sliding the other way.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about them. Let's do it.
Well, let's talk about them. The Aztecs. Not only did they lose to New Mexico State on Saturday, they lost again during this week to Boise. I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was Tuesday. So now they're 13-6 in the Mountain West. They're 19-10 overall. I don't think this team, unless they get to the final of the Mountain West Conference next weekend, a week from Saturday, I don't think they're going to make it in. I think they're going to be down another level when Lenardi comes out with his numbers.
Yeah, I mean they're 22-8, but to your point, it's these mid majors, man. They gotta. It sucks. I can't remember the last. Well, I think the Mountain West does have a reputation for getting in a couple teams every year.
They usually get a couple in, yeah.
Yeah, so they might be able to sneak an extra team in there. I think if some of these bigger conferences like the ACC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12 kind of have the favorites start winning, that actually helps these mid majors. So they're kind of prisoners of other conference tournaments happening. So we'll see.
Agreed.
We'll see.
Agreed. All right, let's talk about a team that Lenardi finally listened to the podcast. He was ranting and raving. Auburn. They're finally on the first out, which is thank God. Now they did win a game last night for the first time in weeks, but they're 16-4 or 14 overall, 7-10 in the SEC. So this team is, I don't know. They must have had some really big wins early that everybody loved them at one time, but now they're just hanging on by a thread. They do play Alabama on Saturday. Maybe they get that win and that puts them on the right side again, but I'm just not a big fan of having teams with 14, 15 losses in the tournament. I don't care what conference they're in.
Yeah, I mean, their claim to fame could be a one-point loss to Houston earlier in the year. They beat St. John's earlier in the year by 9. But they've lost to Arizona, Purdue. They beat Arkansas by 22. Kind of midway through the season. They have beat Florida as well. But to your point, they lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They lost what? 10.
You are muted again, sir.
I don't know why that's happening. They've lost 8 out of the last 10. To your point, it's just a recency bias. Again, we're prisoners of the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I did beat that. That's the last loss Florida had, but that's like end of January or something, or maybe even further back. So, and then the other teams in this first 4 out, that's VCU. Yeah, VCU is a team I'm always going to stand up for because they're in a second-tier conference. They've got St. Louis. That's a really good team that actually has been losing some games. But 23-7, 14-3 in the Atlantic 10. I know it's not as good as it used to be, but this is a team I'd rather see in than Auburn or Indiana. Just a different look, a team that's been competing and winning at a higher level. That's just my take. I want the Rams in.
Yeah, I mean, the only downplay is that both times they've played St. Louis, which is the best team in the A-10, they have not really been. I mean, they lost by 9. They lost the other game by 12. Sorry. So it's just that. Unfortunately, that's kind of.
Did it again, buddy. You and your mute button.
I don't know.
What's with your mute button?
I think it's the mic cord, to be honest. But they've lost to NC State and Vanderbilt this year. So, the step of a competition has kind of been the prisoner for VCU.
Yeah, maybe they can. Maybe, I'll take my Rams over the VCU Rams. That's fine.
Okay.
Virginia Tech, 19-11, overall 8-9 in the ACC. Don't love their metrics. They have one big showdown at Virginia this weekend on Saturday. If they can get this win, then I'll be listening. They're first 4 out, but I just don't think that that's good of a basketball team. They got a big win against North Carolina, so maybe they can get it done and surprise Virginia, who's really the second best team in the ACC, even though they got smoked by Duke, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, they're tied with SMU. They're down there with SMU and Stanford in the ACC, so I don't have a lot of good things to say about Virginia Tech right now.
Negative.
Yeah.
And then the next 4, USC, I think you put a fork in these guys. They're 7-11 in the Big Ten, 18-11 overall. I'm not sure why they're even on this list. I think Lenardi's just got to take them out altogether. Same with Cal. They've got a better record. They're 9-8 in the ACC, but they've beaten like the bad teams and lost to the good teams. 21-9 overall. Again, don't put this team in. I mean, the team I will say on this list that I'm pushing for is Cincinnati. They're 17-13, so not great overall, but they're 9-8 in the Big 12. They swept BYU. I mean, over 500 in the Big 12, which is really tough. And I think that if they can get this game, this last game of the year, and maybe win a game in the Big 12 tournament, I'd rather see that team in. That's a team that can actually win a basketball game. Put them in that play-in 11 seed game, in Dayton, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I think even West Virginia could be thrown into that argument as well for those teams on the bubble. But again, they've been trending in the wrong direction, even though they beat BYU. But then they've lost 4 out of their last 5, and the only victory was that BYU game. So they're definitely not helping their cause, to say the least.
Yeah, West Virginia is trending the wrong way, where Cincinnati's trending up. So I don't know. These are teams that we just keep talking about them because one way or another, you're going to be making a pick on these guys, either in the play-in game or in the whatever, the 6-11 game or something, come the first round. And that's always the drama of the bubble. And then you focus on the good teams, which here we go. Let's talk about the games from last week that mattered. First, we have Michigan State. They took down Purdue. And I was a little surprised. I mean, this was before the Purdue slide, which they have not been doing so good lately. They lost this game against Michigan State, then Ohio State, and then they almost lost to Northwestern. But Michigan State took them out 76-74 on the road. They played a hell of a game. They shot 52.5%, which if Michigan State can shoot that well from the floor, they're going to be good against anybody because that defense is really good.
Yeah, and that was kind of the talking point there is Michigan State is 5th in Ken Palman defense. So that's what
super good.
Yeah, that's kind of my big takeaway as well. And then just the ability they didn't create a lot of turnovers, but yet they still shot the ball. They were 53% from the field. So they're going to be tough to beat, like you said, when they shoot that well.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going on with Purdue. It's a team that's got seniors. You'd think that this is the time of year they played better. Maybe it's just a chemistry issue, but they're not playing any defense. I believe they've given up 50% or more from the field in 5 straight games. I'm assuming Northwestern shot pretty good if they were in that game last night. So Purdue, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they can get right next week in the Big Ten tournament.
And Purdue's not getting to the foul line. They got to the foul line 9 times in that game against Michigan State. They got to the foul line 10 times against Ohio State, where Ohio State got to the line 32 times. And then, like you said, with that Northwestern game with Purdue, they got to the foul line 11 times.
It's not going to get it done.
No, and Northwestern did shoot 51%. So yeah, they've definitely been giving up easy buckets, and it's been tough to watch if you're a Purdue fan, to say the least.
Yeah. Sorry, action. What can you say? And then Michigan on Friday night action. Michigan and Illinois. It was a no contest. I mean, Michigan just kind of big boyed them. They beat them badly. They held them to 41% shooting, which is rare for Illinois. They shot 53%. They win 84-70. They basically solidified the regular season title with this win, which I'm not saying I was surprised. I just thought it'd be a closer game. And in the end, I was not right. Michigan took care of business.
Yeah, I mean, they just showed why they're the best team in the Big Ten and probably one of the best teams in the country. So it was just a dog and pony show from the beginning.
Yeah. Speaking of the best team in the country, nice segue. Duke was playing the number 2 team in the ACC in Virginia, and it was not close. They held Virginia to 29.1% from the field. They made 12 threes. They beat them 77-51. They just kind of took them behind the woodshed and destroyed them. I'm not saying I'm surprised here. It just means that Duke is a head and shoulders above anybody in this league, and I don't know if anybody can beat them. We'll talk about North Carolina in a minute.
Yeah. And I mean, they killed them on the glass. They gave up 25. They gave up 25 points in the second half and 26 in the first half. So, I mean, you're going to win a lot of basketball games playing that kind of defense. That's all I got to say.
That's like a high school or middle school game.
Yeah.
51 points,
Yeah. Like I said, that loss was going to work wonders for Duke, and it has definitely worked wonders for Duke since they lost to North Carolina.
It did. And now here's a team that we'll talk about twice, Arizona playing Kansas. And look, Arizona had they stubbed their toe a couple games. They lost Koa Pete, righted the ship. I don't know if Tommy Lloyd's a good coach yet, but he certainly has the squad this year. They destroyed the Jayhawks 84-61. They out-rebounded them 48-26. And even though Darren Peterson had 24 points, this was a no contest from the beginning. And this game they want to share the Big 12 title. I mean, it was just, they got it done. Hey, you're back.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I might be losing some connection here. But yeah, no, they worked it. I mean, I think it was important for Arizona to win the Big 12 as soon as possible too.
Yeah, it's good.
Hang on.
Okay, Arizona is just take care of business, dude. I mean, it's like they're a big team. They've got great guards. They win the Big 12 title, like you said, that they wanted to win it early. I think you're right. In the end, they're showing out. And I guess let's just jump to that game. On Monday, they turned right back around and they beat the hell out of the fighting Kennys and the Cyclones. Yeah. And it wasn't close. I mean, this game was 73-57, 6 blocks on them. They made 23 field goals. They won the rebound battle. This team looks legit again. I mean, they had the little bump, like you said, kind of with Duke. Maybe those losses were the best things for them because they look like the best team in the country. I know the other two teams are great too, but they've got it all. It's just, can they make enough threes to win a game?
Yeah, Iowa State shot 29% in that game. Like that is just, I mean, that is just suffocating. You do that to any team in the country. You're going to, like I said, you're going to win a lot of basketball games. And Arizona gets to the foul line. They had 26 foul shots on Monday night in that game against the Cyclones. And,
that's right.
I think when you slow down the pace of the game in that direction and you can get to the foul line and really dictate, like I said, the pace of play, I think Arizona can be a really tough out.
Yeah, they've got good guards. They got really good guards. And then the other top team that we've been talking about, I've been pumping it up. You see it in Ken Palm.
James Hedgerton. Hell yeah. He's showing up.
That's right. Well, I'm hedging. I got to get into the Final Four so I can hedge that ticket I've got. I thought this game was going to be at least competitive, but Florida came out and said, listen, Arkansas, you don't play much defense. We're going to run you out of the gym. They scored 111 points. So they beat them 111-77. I don't know. And then they turned back around and they scored 100. I thought they're going to take a step back the next game. They beat Mississippi State by 40 or something, scoring 105. This team is on a mission. I mean, 57% from the field. They out-rebounded Arkansas by 20. I don't know, man. I mean, it's like a collision course with these four teams right now. And I know UConn probably will get the 1 seed because they beat Florida early in the year, but I don't know if any of these teams they have to beat up on each other. I don't know if any other teams can beat them right now.
Yeah, I mean, last time Florida lost was January 24th. So, and they've scored 100, like you said, in back-to-back games, 111, 108. And they've been right around. I mean, they can score the basket. They can put the ball in the basket. Let's put it that way with the best of them. I think that's what makes this team really scary. And then, with their defensive rating too, they're 4th in Ken Palm. So, I mean, I would love to see a Duke and Florida matchup. I think would be a great matchup, or a Florida and Michigan, somewhere in that range. But yeah, I think your Hedgerton is looking pretty good right now.
It is. I do think that when you see Florida play, they play at a speed. So Duke would probably try to slow them down, right? They probably slow them down like they try to slow down Michigan. I think that the bigs for Florida are, they're great bigs, but them against the bigs from Arizona or Michigan, that'd be a fun matchup. I just think the guards for Arizona are better than Florida. So we'll see how that all plays out in the wash. Once they play, late in March.
And Florida kills you on the glass, though. I mean, they're the 3rd best rebounding team in the country. They average almost 46 rebounds per game. So they kill you on the glass, and I mean they take away those second opportunities, which is always big in college basketball, especially come tournament time.
Yeah. Well, let's just talk about 4 matchups here because there's not a ton of highlight games this weekend, but there are a couple. I put Vanderbilt at Tennessee, the battle for the Smoky Mountains, as I said. Yeah, Nashville versus Knoxville, Battle of the Bills. I think Tennessee is a short favorite here, 2.5. This is estimated 142.5 point total. This is Saturday at 1 p.m. Central on ESPN. Who do you like in this game?
I like Tennessee. I would say they have been rolling, but then they dropped games to Missouri and Alabama, but they were in that Alabama game.
Yeah, they blew it.
I just don't think Vandy has a chance. We talk about good rebounding teams. Tennessee is 10th in the country when it comes to rebounding. I don't know if Vanderbilt has the size to hang out with Tennessee. We'll see. I think this game will be a close game. Don't get me wrong, but I just think Vanderbilt is going to stub their toe a little bit here. They've been kind of streaky as well. They did play Tennessee a couple weeks ago and lost by 4. It was 69-65, but Vanderbilt is not as good on the glass. They're 183rd in the country, but they do score the basketball quite a bit. They're averaging 87 points a game. So we'll see. This is definitely a matchup of defense versus offense, and I think Tennessee's defense will find a way. And ironically enough, they are literally 14th and 15th in KenPom. So we'll see.
Yeah, I just don't know if I believe in Vandy. I mean, Tennessee, the biggest thing with them is they've blown leads. They've had leads in games, and they just blow them. And that's the only thing I worry about. But Vandy, look, they have good guard play. They're going to probably win a game in a tournament. They're going to be frisky outside the SEC. I just don't know if I believe in them in a long-term situation. Whereas Tennessee, they've done it before. You said defense. I agree with that. They're a good defense.
I mean, I think Vandy is living a little bit on how their season started. I mean, they started 16-0, and ever since then, they had 3 straight losses followed by 3 straight wins. They had a loss. They won 2 in a row. They lost 2 in a row. They've kind of been 500 ever since that 16-0 start. So I'm a little skeptic of Vanderbilt.
Soft preseason schedule. So here's the big one. Now, this is the only time Duke lost in the last 2 months. So you've got North Carolina at Duke this time. Duke's the #1 team in the nation. I'm estimating a pretty robust line, 8.5, 146.5 point total. Saturday, this is at 5:30 p.m. Central on ESPN. It's hard not to like Duke straight up, but the numbers, I mean, look, I said this in the last podcast. Do I feel like, am I going to fall for the media where it's like, oh, it's always a close game? Or I know Duke's much better than North Carolina, especially if Caleb Wilson's playing, or does not playing. I don't know if he's playing or not. So I would take Duke to win, probably lay the points, probably actually do an in-game bet, see if it comes down. But they're just a cut above the ACC, and I think they're a cut above North Carolina. But I thought that last time, and they came back to win in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, I'm just not a big believer in UNC. I kind of said this in your last show, but I'm not a big believer in North Carolina yet. I've seen them be a little too inconsistent for my liking. And when they've been playing these lesser teams, these teams that they should be putting away, they haven't been. I mean, they beat Virginia Tech by 7. They beat Clemson by 4. Now, Clemson is a better team, but I feel like they get a little lackadaisical, or they get a little streaky. I think they're a little too streaky for my liking, and I think that's why Duke is. You know what you're getting with Duke, and I think that's why they're going to lay the wood here. They're at home; they'll take care of business.
Well, plus they lost last game, right? So they're going to, And I was saying last packet, Cameron Kate crazy. They're probably sleeping outside the Cameron indoor right now. Trying to get their seats. All right, another game: Texas Tech at BYU. As I mentioned. BYU was ranked up until this week because they keep losing, but Texas Tech did lose to TCU, so they're coming off a loss. This is at 9:30 p.m. Central on ESPN. Labansa's a great player, so maybe he can keep in this game. I think Texas Tech's going to be favored by 2.5 on the road. Higher total, 155.5 point total. I think Tech wins. And covers, And actually, if they would have lost, if they didn't lose the game against TCU, I would have been a little bit more on BYU's side. But do you think BYU can come? They did this a couple of weeks ago and got a big win. Yes, that was Iowa State, right? But I don't think they're going to do it against Texas Tech.
It's tough to say. BYU has played the last 2 games on the road. They went to West Virginia, they went to Cincinnati, so maybe to come home does give them a little bit of advantage. And I mean, they did get blown out against Cincinnati, but again, that the whole travel schedule with kids and everything in between, I think they can maybe get a little distracted. BYU is a little bit of a younger team, but I think you're probably safe leaning Tech here. I wouldn't sleep on them. I would not sleep on BYU just because I think Texas Tech lives a little bit on their offense. So if they have a little bit of a bad shooting night, or if they have a little bit of a slow start, and BYU gets off to, a pretty solid start, I think it could be a long night for Texas Tech. But I would probably go Texas Tech here. I would definitely take the over. That's what I feel the best about. Yeah, I'm taking the over in this game. I'm just going to enjoy it, but we'll see.
I agree with you. The over's in there. It's just with Texas Tech, TCU plays defense. I don't think BYU does. So TCU actually slowed down Tech's offense. They've been churning even without JT Toppin. They've been lighting it up. So this will be a fun game to watch. It'll be a lot of points scored with BYU. All right, last game Sunday. This is Michigan State at Michigan. This is the battle at the top of the Big Ten. Even though that Michigan's locked up the title for the regular season, I think Michigan's gonna be a heavy favorite, which sounds crazy, but I just used KenPom to figure this out, and per KenPom they'd be like 6.5, 7.5 point favorites, pretty big favorites. 149.5 point total. This is 4:30 p.m. Central on CBS. It's hard to lay those points, but it really is a question: is how much better is Michigan than Michigan State? They're at home. They blew a lead when they were at East Lansing, but they came back and still finished the job and covered that number. I'm like captain favorite this week. I think it's going to be a favorite fest. I think that Michigan's going to win. I don't know about if the number's going to come out this big, but I think that they should be favored. And as good as Michigan State's been playing, it's just that size for Michigan is tough.
Yeah. And again, I keep, beating the drum here, but I just think, when good teams suffer losses, I think it really just wakes up, it brings the level of play to another, the concentration, the level of play up. So I think Michigan does take care of business here, even though the fighting Casanovas and Kenny were, kind of leaning Michigan State, or maybe somebody else in the chat was leaning Michigan State.
In the chat, yeah.
But now I think Michigan is going to keep asserting their dominance. I think they're playing really well right now. And to your point, they beat Michigan State 83-71 in their last matchup. Michigan State scored 26 points in the first half. So when Michigan wants to lock this team down, I think it can get really ugly between Michigan's defense and Michigan State's inability to make field goals.
Yeah, they do. Michigan State's been getting that kid who's shooting the ball. Kurt Tang has been making like 14 threes in the last 3 games. So he's added a new element to their offense, which really helps them and pushes them over the top offensively. I just think that push comes to shove. Michigan, of course, it's an in-state rivalry. So even though they won the Big Ten, I think they're still going to play hard. But I do think this probably, if bracket lines up properly, you're probably going to see this game again next Sunday, a week from Sunday, when they play in the Big Ten tournament final as well. So
yeah, and it'd be Michigan State's 3rd road game in 4 games. So that's maybe something to keep your eye on too.
That's right. Betting against Izzo, always tough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about the weekend? What do you got going this weekend? Looks like you have a pretty busy slate.
Yeah, we've got the high school boys championship hockey games. There's 2 of them tomorrow night at Allstate that we'll be at covering. And then I'll be back at Allstate on Sunday to cover the Wolves. The Wolves have been playing pretty well this year. They're 2nd in the Central. They're not going to catch Grand Rapids because Grand Rapids has been arguably the greatest team that the AHL has ever seen in the regular season this year. I think they've lost like 7 or 8 games. They're like 32-8, I think, or something along those lines. Yeah, it's insane. Okay. They've already clinched a playoff spot, and they have like 22 games to go, which is just insane. So, and then we'll have bowling again on Tuesday. And then other than that, just be living the dream, pumping iron,
Pumping iron, getting
pumping
big.
Iron. Okay, yeah.
Well,
right.
Well, I mean, that's what you're doing it for, right? So you're going to miss Colin's birthday tomorrow, I guess, which is, that's okay.
Yeah.
I have a dinner before that. I'm actually going to run out and meet buddies. But it's a busy week. Everybody say, hey, Wegs, I'm in town. Okay, sure, I'll show up.
Nice.
But Colin moved his thing to Friday, or at least Nicole did. Still TBD on the place. I love Nicole's planning style. Tell me where, who's coming, and then I'll figure out where we're going. No, figure out a place. Just do a place,
Yeah.
It's not like you're doing a dinner reservation.
It's not like we got 50 people going either,
Right. I got volleyball on Saturday. That'll be fun. I haven't played in 6 weeks.
Nice.
And then
how can I get added to that list, by the way? Is there a way to get added?
Talk to Scotty Green, Mr. Green.
The sub list. Nice.
Yeah, and you're actually closer. You'd be the perfect sub. You're like 2 blocks away from the gym.
Right. Yeah, literally.
No, just message Scotty. He can put you on. I think lately he's been having a lot of people flake. So okay. I was actually the 1st or 2nd sub, and I got added. So I'm in. And then Saturday night, my buddy Khan, who he's from here but lived in Hawaii, is back here. He's moving or something. I'm gonna have dinner with him on Saturday. And then one of my bosses, my buddy Jonathan's gonna be in town. He's like, we're having a Sunday fun day. I'm like, yes, we are. So maybe we'll watch that Michigan game somewhere. So.
Does Sunday and Fun Day include Rivers or?
Maybe. I mean, I'm trying to save some money for Vegas because
that's a good idea.
I did lose. When did I go back? I went back
last Sunday, right? Yeah, for the Chi-Town shooters or whatever.
Well, that was 2 weeks ago. I went back again last weekend and lost.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear
Saturday. It might have been Saturday now that I think about it because I was like,
I got bad memories.
I only got one shot. Like it was like,
oh wow,
it was a choppy day, and I only got one shot at it. It's okay. I mean, one of the guys threw okay. It just was nobody got hot. It's the same kind of thing. It was like slow. I survived. I didn't go more than admittedly, I brought $500 and I'm like hoping for a $10 table at like 2:00 or whenever it was. And it was all $15. So I was like, damn. So I only bought in for 4 and I was able to stretch out that 400 for over an hour on a $15 table. Not bad, but I had to do kind of just real basic stuff and nobody got hot enough to, when I first got one, I'm like, okay, here we go. And then boom. And then not to speak out of turn, because I know she listens, her name's Jane or something. Older lady, like older than Rivers, she's old woman Rivers. She saddles up next to me. Is there a spot? No, it's fine. I've met her before. Okay. The regulars always see each other. She just talks the whole time. And she talks about everybody. She's like, oh, that guy, I don't like that guy. He does this. And, this time I was here and this guy did this. And I'm like, okay. And then I was, I did get the parlay up on a couple of numbers, like the hard 8.
Yeah.
And if I would have won like $400, that was like, okay, I'm like basically out. She's like, if you win that, will you give me $30? I'm like, what is with the women and asking me for money all the time? I'm telling you.
Wow.
Even when you're like 80. So anyway, she should have been in the shed now that I think about it, but she's
literally.
I feel bad about that.
Like, just tell her to stop talking. Like, until we start winning, you cannot talk. Like,
stop talking.
Yeah, literally.
I can't move because the table's full. I can't move. Like, can't move spots. I'm like,
yeah.
It's like if next time I see her, I'm like, dun dun, like dun 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 dun. Like I gotta move fast.
Like you're a bad luck charm, lady.
So I'm trying to stay away till we go to Vegas. We'll talk more next week. We get the 4 guys. We're ready to go. We're excited. I've been some texting. Let's hit the tables and whatever. But I'm trying to protect the bankroll till I get out there.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I mean, you're a seasoned veteran, so you should know better.
The restraint. Anyway, well, follow us at Side Action Pod on X, Side Action Podcast on Instagram. Follow me at Wexpo and X on Instagram. Don't forget about TikTok.
Don't do it.
Ever.
Don't even think about forgetting it. And I'm Coop. You can check me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper and on X at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast. Make sure to check us out. Like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Everything else in between. And Wegsy, it's getting warm, so that's the good news. At least it's going to be in the 60s next week. So maybe we'll get to the beach at some point.
Luke has already been texting like, hey, it's going to be 50 on Saturday. Let's play. And I'm like, it looks like it rained to me.
But like, play golf or play volleyball?
Volleyball.
Well, you need to tell him to get on the golf course. He didn't play a lot last year. With the whole, I don't know if his shoulder or elbow, one or the other. I can't remember what it was.
I always got something. I'm like, you know what? You're a chiropractor. You get free service, right? Like, I got to pay for that kind of action.
The doctor's hurt. Yeah, that makes no sense. So, all right. Love you guys.